If my father had kept quiet that day, my life would have followed a different road. But pride spoke first. The sun burned high above our small rural town. Heat pressed into the dusty ground, rising with every step. The marketplace was crowded and loud. Traders shouted from every corner. Metal tools clanged. Children ran past, laughing. The air smelled of sweat, spices, and dry earth. People gathered near our stall because my father, Jae-won, was known there. He has the biggest shop in the market. He was respected. He was feared. When he spoke, people listened. When he frowned, people stepped back. Then a weak voice slipped through the noise. "Please, water." A man stood a short distance away. His clothes were torn and faded. His body was thin and weak. His shoulders bent forward, like someone who had carried suffering for too many years. His eyes did not shout. They waited. Without thinking, I reached for a cup of water. My father struck my hand away. "Are you mad?" he shouted. "Must you disgrace me by helping useless people?" The marketplace went quiet. Heads turned. Some nodded. Some whispered. No one defended me. "He is hungry," I said softly, my voice shaking. My father laughed. "Hunger is not my problem. Pride feeds families, not pity." The man lowered his head. My chest tightened, not because of him, but because of us. When my father turned away to greet another trader, I quickly placed the cup in the man's hands. He drank slowly, carefully, like someone afraid kindness might disappear. "Thank you," he whispered. Before leaving, he pressed a small wooden token into my palm. A strange symbol was carved into it. "Kindness sees what pride ignores," he said quietly. Then he disappeared into the crowd. I closed my hand around the token, unaware that everything had already begun to change. My name is Chanwoo. My life was simple and mostly unseen. I woke before sunrise each day. I carried heavy loads for traders. I swept dusty floors. I repaired broken tools. Some days I ate once. Some days I ate nothing at all. But my father, Jae-won, has so much, but not for we the children. No one praised me. No one noticed. But I noticed people. I noticed tired faces, weak hands, quiet pain. I shared water when I could. I helped the weak stand. I listened when others spoke. These small acts cost me little, but they gave me peace. Pride never gave peace. That afternoon, my feet led me back to the tree near the marketplace. I did not plan it. Something inside me pulled me there. He was waiting. The man sat calmly beneath the tree, as if he knew I would return. His eyes were gentle and steady. "You came back," he said. I gave him bread. He broke it in half and handed some back to me. "Why?" I asked. "Giving should never leave you empty," he replied. We talked until the sun dipped low. He asked about my work, my dreams, my father. "He believes pride is everything," I said. The man nodded slowly. "Pride builds walls," he said. "Kindness builds paths." When I stood to leave, he smiled. "We will meet again." That night, I slept with the wooden token under my pillow and dreamed of open roads. That night, my father, Jae-won, spoke of pride, as if it were food. We sat on the floor for our evening meal. The lamp flickered softly. Outside, the town was quiet. My father filled the room with his voice. He spoke of new plans, of wealth still to come, of powerful men who greeted him in public. He said poor people earned their suffering. He said kindness weakened men. He said pity made families small. I listened without lifting my eyes. Then he looked directly at me. "If I ever see you helping that man again," he said slowly, "you will answer to me." The words were calm, but the warning was sharp. "He is not useless," I replied before fear could stop me. "He is a man." My father slammed his cup to the ground. "Enough," he shouted. "You shame me. Pride built this house, not mercy." That night, sleep avoided me. Rain began to fall, soft at first, then heavier, and then a knock. Not loud, not demanding, careful. I opened the door. The stranger stood there, soaked from head to toe. Rain dripped from his hair. His body shook, not only from cold, but from weakness. I hope I am not trouble, he said. I stepped aside. I gave him dry clothes, warm food. As he ate, he watched me closely. You risk much, he said quietly. I risk nothing, I answered. He studied my face. When pride blocks a door, he asked, do you force it open, or do you wait? I thought for a moment. I wait, I said, and I listen. He smiled. Good, he said softly. Not all doors open with force. Before morning, he was gone. Only the sound of rain remained. From that day on, I helped him in secret. When he came, I shared what I had. When he was weak, I listened. He never asked for more. And slowly, strange things began to happen. A wooden beam fell from a roof and missed me by inches. A job came on a day I had lost all hope. Trouble followed me, then turned away. My father noticed. You see, he said proudly, my wisdom protects us. But then, the stranger stopped coming. Days passed. People whispered in the market. They saw him near a guarded estate, someone said. My father laughed. Lies, he replied. Poor men do not walk with the powerful. Then the letter arrived. It was not for him. It was for me. Heavy paper, clean writing, sealed with wax, marked with the same symbol, carved into my wooden token. My father tore it open. He read it once, then again, and his smile disappeared. For the first time, I saw doubt touch his eyes, and for the first time, pride did not speak fast enough to hide it. Who invited you? My father, Jae-won, held the letter tightly. His fingers pressed into the paper as if it might escape. I don't know, I said honestly. He scoffed and threw the letter back at me. Do not disgrace me, he said. Important people do not send for nobodies. But the letter was real. The paper was thick. The writing was calm and clear. It asked me to travel alone. It asked me to arrive humbly. It warned me not to come with pride. There was no name, only the same symbol carved into my wooden token. Fear settled deep in my chest. I had never left our town. I owned nothing of value. I had no powerful friends. Still, something stronger than fear pulled me forward. The same quiet pull I felt beneath the tree. I went. The road was long, silent, unfamiliar. When I arrived, I stood before a place unlike anything I had known. Big a mansion with heavy bodyguards. Calm voices, who did not shout, but took me to a clean hall. People looked at me, not with suspicion, but with respect. My hands trembled. Then a voice spoke behind me. Do you recognize me? I turned slowly. It was him. No torn clothes. No sickness. He stood clean and strong, dressed simply, yet carrying a quiet authority. His eyes were the same. I was watching, he said. My thoughts scattered. You helped when no one watched, he continued. You gave when it cost you. Behind my eyes, my father's words echoed. Pride is everything. The man smiled gently. Let us see, he said, what kindness is built. While I stayed, my father's world began to shift. Deals he trusted failed quietly. Friends who praised him stopped visiting. Doors that once opened easily now stayed closed. People listened less. At the same time, my name began to travel. Not loudly, not proudly, but with respect. My father noticed. He did not speak of it at first, but fear crept into his voice when he did. Be careful, he warned. Attention invites danger. Then the letter came for him. Late, plain, without warmth. It was short, direct. He was summoned. My father read it slowly. His hands trembled. The pride he wore so easily no longer fit. For the first time in my life, he looked uncertain, and for the first time, pride had no answer ready. When my father, Jae-won, entered the great hall, I barely recognized him. The man who once walked loudly now moved with care. Each step felt heavy, as if the floor resisted him. People stood around. Traders, laborers, widows, servants. Some avoided his eyes. Others watched closely. I stood to the side. My hands were cold. My heart beat hard. At the center of the hall stood the man I once knew as poor. He did not wear rich clothes. Yet the room seemed to settle when he stood still. His voice was calm. Witnesses stepped forward. A trader spoke of promises broken without apology. A laborer spoke of work done and never paid for. A widow spoke of asking for help and being turned away. No one shouted. No one exaggerated. The truth did not need noise. My father kept his eyes on the ground. Then the man turned to him. "What did pride give you?" he asked. The question filled the room. My father lifted his head slowly. His mouth opened. No words came. He looked around, searching for agreement, for fear, for support. There was none. The silence stretched. For the first time, pride had nothing to say for him. The man stepped forward. The hall grew still. "I was not sent to measure wealth," he said. "I was sent to measure hearts." A quiet murmur passed through the room. He spoke of the marketplace, the heat, the noise, the laughter that followed cruelty. He spoke of thirst, of hunger, of waiting quietly beneath a tree while others passed by. Then he turned toward me. "One person saw me," he said, "not as a burden, not as a nobody." My chest tightened. He saw a man. The meaning reached everyone at once. "Kindness," the man continued. "Open doors pride kept locked." My father's legs shook. Slowly, he fell to his knees. "I was blind," he whispered. "I believed fear brought respect. I believed pride built safety." No one laughed. No one spoke. That silence was heavier than punishment. The truth had waited patiently. And now, it stood where pride once stood. After the truth was spoken, no one moved. The great hall felt different now. Not tense, not angry, just awake. The man everyone now listened to stepped forward again. His eyes rested on me. "You were tested without knowing," he said calmly. "You were watched without promise of reward. And still, you chose kindness." I felt my throat tighten. "You were not chosen because you are strong," he continued. "You were chosen because you are gentle." The words landed slowly. Then he spoke of the offer. Not power to rule, not wealth to boast about. Responsibility, land to care for, resources to protect, influence to use wisely. "Power must serve," he said. "When it feeds pride, it destroys. When it feeds people, it heals." Every eye turned toward me. I thought of the marketplace, the slap, the water, the wooden token. "I need time," I said softly. The man nodded. "Wisdom pauses before it claims." As the hall slowly emptied, my father remained where he had fallen. His shoulders shook. Tears ran freely, tears I had never seen before. The man who once filled rooms with his voice could barely breathe. "I was blind," he whispered. "I taught fear and called it strength." I stood before him, unsure of my own heart. "I told you pride was everything," he said, his voice breaking. "But you lived without it." He lowered his head to the floor. "I failed you," he said. "As a father." The memory returned. The marketplace, the laughter, the shame. My hands trembled. Slowly, I reached down and lifted him. "You taught me how to endure," I said quietly. "I learned kindness on my own." He looked up at me. For the first time, he did not argue. For the first time, pride did not stand between us. And in that moment, something older than power, stronger than wealth, began to heal. Forgiveness did not come like a command. No one demanded it. No one expected it. The hall was quiet, as if everyone was waiting to see what I would do next. My father, Jae-won, knelt before me. The man who once stood above others now looked small, not weak, but exposed. "I do not deserve your mercy," he said softly. Those words surprised me more than his tears. I had never heard my father speak like that before. There was no pride in his voice, no excuse, only truth. Forgiveness did not rise quickly in my heart. It came slowly, like light at dawn. I remembered the stranger under the tree, the water, the bread, the quiet kindness that asked for nothing in return. "I forgive you," I said at last. My father closed his eyes. His shoulders dropped, as if a heavy load had finally slipped from his back. Forgiveness did not erase the past. The harsh words still existed. The public shame still mattered. But forgiveness opened something new. A future that was not chained to yesterday. The man from abroad watched silently. He did not interfere. The choice had been made. If you are watching my video, please kindly subscribe to my channel. I did not begin my new role with speeches. I began with work. Homes were repaired one by one. Roofs were fixed. Wells were cleaned. Fields were cleared. I listened more than I spoke. I asked before I acted. People were surprised. They had expected power to arrive loudly. Instead, it arrived quietly. My father asked for nothing. I will work, he said. Let my hands learn what my pride forgot. So he worked. He carried stones. He swept roads. He rebuilt homes he once ignored. No one forced him. He chose it. People noticed, not because he demanded respect, but because he accepted humility. Trust returned slowly. Hope followed. The town did not change in one day. It changed in many small ones. One evening, as the sun lowered, my father stood beside me. I spent my life climbing, he said quietly, and never saw the people below. I looked at the town we were rebuilding. Now you see, I said. He nodded. For the first time, he did not stand above others. He stood among them. The day the town gathered, the air felt heavy. People came from every direction. Traders stood beside laborers. Elders stood beside children. No one joked. No one shouted. Everyone knew this moment mattered. My father, Jae-won, stepped forward. Once, he would have walked proudly, his head high, his voice ready to command. Now his steps were slow, careful. He stopped in front of the people and took a deep breath. I lived my life believing pride made me strong, he said. His voice was low, but steady. I believed kindness made men small. The crowd listened closely. I was wrong, he continued. Pride blinded me. It closed my ears. It hardened my heart. He turned slightly and looked at me. My son, Chanwoo, helped a man I called a nobody, he said. That man saw everything. The square fell silent. If only I had questioned pride, my father said softly. No one laughed. No one clapped. The silence was full, not empty. Many people lowered their heads, thinking about their own lives. That day, my father's words did what anger never could. They opened hearts. After that day, my father did not return home the same man. He walked through the town more slowly now. Not from weakness, but from thought. When people greeted him with respect, he no longer lifted his chin. He nodded gently and moved on. He spoke less. He listened more. One evening, as I walked toward the edge of town, I noticed him following me quietly. He did not call my name. He waited until I stopped. You are still helping people, he said. Yes, I replied. He nodded. I once believed helping others made a man small. We stood in silence, watching the sun sink low. That night, something happened that surprised me. I heard my father praying. Not loudly, not with demands. Quietly. His words carried thanks, not requests. Humility, not pride. In that moment, I understood something clearly. Pride once made my father loud. Kindness made him whole. And slowly, the town was learning the same lesson. Change did not finish its work that day. My father, Jae-won, had spoken the truth before everyone. But truth does not end pain, it begins it. Days passed. He worked in silence. He spoke only when spoken to. At night, he sat alone, staring into the dark. Sometimes I found him holding the wooden token, the one the stranger gave me long ago. I do not know what comes next, he said quietly one evening. I sat beside him. Neither do I replied. He nodded. That is what frightens me. No punishment came. No reward either. That waiting became heavier than judgment. Each sunrise felt like a question without an answer. I spent my life running from silence, my father said one night. Now silence has found me. Then the letter arrived. It was plain. No praise. No honor. He read it slowly. His hands shook. They are not calling me to defend myself, he said. They are calling me to remember. His voice broke. What if memory is the real punishment? That night, he did not ask for forgiveness. He asked for strength. On the day we set out, My father walked more slowly than ever, not because his legs were weak, but because his heart was heavy. Each step felt like moving closer to a mirror he had avoided all his life. As we traveled, he spoke softly. I thought power meant standing above others, he said. I never knew it meant standing exposed. When we arrived, the great hall was quiet. No crowd waited. No accusations were shouted. The silence felt deliberate. The man from abroad, the one who once wore torn clothes, stood among the people, not above them. Truth does not rush, he said calmly. It waits until the heart is ready. My father swallowed hard. He was not asked to kneel. He was not ordered to speak. He was asked to listen. Stories were shared, not in anger, but in honesty. Each one opened a door my father had locked long ago. I watched his face change with every word. Not breaking, opening. And in that moment, I understood something deeply. Punishment is loud. Understanding is quiet. And sometimes, the most powerful moment is not when judgment falls, but when it is delayed. When my father, Jae-won, was finally asked to speak, the hall grew very quiet. No one rushed him. No one pushed him forward. The waiting itself felt heavy. He stood still for a long moment. His hands trembled at his sides. His eyes moved across the faces before him. Faces he once spoke over. Faces he once ignored. I thought fear earned respect, he began softly. I thought loud words made me important. He paused and took a slow breath. I was wrong. The words were simple, but they fell like stones into deep water. I mistook pride for strength, he continued. I believed listening made a man small. I believed helping others would take something from me. His voice cracked, but pride took everything. No one interrupted him. No one argued. The silence allowed his words to settle. I did not see people, he said. I saw ranks. I saw value only in power. Then he turned and looked at me. My son, Chanwoo saw people, he said, even when I taught him not to. Tears filled his eyes. He did not wipe them away. That is my greatest shame, he whispered. For the first time in his life, he did not defend himself. He simply told the truth. The man from abroad listened without speaking. When my father finished, he did not answer right away. He let the quiet remain. Truth spoken late, he said at last, is still truth. Then he turned toward me. You have seen pride, he said calmly, and you have lived without it. The room leaned forward. He gave me a choice. I could take everything, land, wealth, honor, and walk away. Or I could stay and use what I was given to lift others, even those who once hurt me. The hall waited. I looked at my father. He did not beg. He did not speak. He only watched, afraid of what my answer might be. I remembered the marketplace, the slap, the laughter, the water. I choose to stay, I said. A quiet breath passed through the room. I choose to build, I continued. Not above people, but among them. The man from abroad nodded slowly. In that moment, I understood something clearly. Power shows who rules. Choice shows who we are. And the hardest test was never about pride. It was about what we would do after it fell. The man from abroad did not turn to me first. He turned to my father, Jae-won. This surprised everyone. You have fallen, he said calmly. But falling is not the same as ending. My father lifted his eyes slowly. They were tired, but awake. For many years, the man continued. You carried pride. It gave you noise, control, and fear. He paused. Now you must learn to carry something heavier. The hall was silent. Responsibility. My father's breath caught in his chest. You will not be sent away, the man said. You will not be hidden. Murmurs spread through the room. You will remain among the people you once ruled, he continued. You will walk the same streets. But this time, you will not be heard first. My father closed his eyes. You will listen first, the man said. You will assist. You will observe. You will learn. This was harder than punishment. My father bowed deeply. I accept, he said. Not loudly. Not proudly. With weight. In that moment, I understood something important. The man was not destroying my father. He was reshaping him. Forgiveness did not arrive all at once. It came in pieces. My father worked among the people every day. He spoke little. He listened much. Still, some wounds were deep. During a meeting, an old trader stood up. His voice was calm, but firm. "You speak softly now," he said. "But your words once ruined my trade. How do we know this change will last?" The room fell quiet. My father did not defend himself. He did not explain. He did not blame the past. "You do not know," he said honestly. "And you should not trust words." He paused. "Watch my actions," he added. "Let time speak for me." No anger followed. No applause. But something shifted. Forgiveness was not demanded. It was invited. That night, my father sat beside me. "I once thought forgiveness was weakness," he said. "Now I see it as a gift others choose to give." He looked at his hands. "I cannot ask for it," he continued. "I can only become worthy of it." That was when I understood. Forgiveness is not a reward. It is a relationship rebuilt slowly. Weeks passed. My father's presence began to change the room. People stopped lowering their voices when he entered. They spoke freely, sometimes even disagreeing with him. And he welcomed it. He did not lead meetings. He supported them. When younger men hesitated, he encouraged them to speak. When others stepped forward, he stepped back. One day, a leader asked him for advice. The old habit stirred. But my father answered carefully. "Ask the group," he said. "Let many minds build the answer." That moment mattered. Leadership was no longer about being heard first. It was about making space. That night, my father spoke quietly to me. "I spent years building a name," he said. "Now I am learning to build people." I saw then that the deepest change was not public. It was private. Pride once made him stand tall. Humility taught him where to stand. By choosing patience over power, silence over shouting, service over status, my father was becoming something rare. Not a man who ruled, but a man who could be trusted. And trust, once broken, is the hardest thing to rebuild. Yet the strongest foundation of all. Change did not arrive like a storm. It came quietly. A trader repaired his neighbor's roof without being asked. A farmer shared seeds with a widow. Children were taught to greet elders and to notice those who stood alone. No announcement was made. The town simply began to move differently. I worked among them every day. I did not command. I asked. I listened. The man from abroad watched from a distance, saying little. The work spoke for itself. My father worked beside me. He carried tools. He cleaned wells. He waited his turn in long lines. When mistakes were made, he did not shout. When praised, he lowered his eyes. Some people still remembered the man he used to be, but many more were seeing the man he was becoming. One afternoon, a small boy fell and scraped his knee. Before anyone else moved, my father knelt beside him. He cleaned the wound gently. He spoke softly. The people nearby noticed. That small moment traveled faster than any speech. That was when I understood. Power does not change people. Example does. One evening, after the day's work was done, my father and I sat outside our home. The air was cool. The town was quiet. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Then my father broke the silence. "Why did you forgive me?" he asked. His voice was not demanding. It was honest. I thought for a moment. "Because pride already punished you," I said. "And because holding anger would punish me." He nodded slowly. "I spent my life teaching fear," he said. "You taught hope, without trying." He looked toward the town. "I believed strength meant never bending," he continued. "Now I see that bending saved me." The moon rose above us. "I cannot change the past," he said, "but I can protect the future." I smiled gently. "That is enough," I replied. That night, I understood the final lesson. Pride isolates. Kindness connects. Today, my father speaks differently. His voice is softer. His words are fewer. When people gather around him, he does not rush to be heard. He waits. And when he speaks, he tells only one story. He does not talk about wealth. He does not talk about power. He does not talk about fear. He talks about a day in the marketplace, I had a son, he begins, and I thought pride would protect him. People lean closer. One day, a poor man asked for water, he continues. I pushed him away. He pauses. My son did not. The crowd grows quiet. My son helped a nobody, my father says. And that nobody saw everything. Sometimes his voice shakes. Sometimes it does not. I spent my life chasing respect, he says. But I only found it when I learned to kneel. He looks up, not with pride, but with peace. If only I had questioned pride earlier, he says. I would have saved myself much pain. Children hear the story and learn to notice others. Leaders hear it and learn to listen. The poor hear it and feel seen. And I stand nearby. I am still the same person. I still rise early. I still work quietly. I still help when I can. The reward did not change my heart. It only gave it room to grow. As the crowd fades, my father turns to me. You showed me a better way, he says. I shake my head. No, I reply. I only chose kindness. And now, I ask you, when pride stands in your way, what would you choose? If you have watched this video, please kindly subscribe for more.